Terror strikes Europe. 31 injured in Germany and 2 Israeli embassy attacks. In Germany, Denmark, and Sweden, it's been a hot and busy week, apparently. In a series of incidents across Europe, tensions related to the Middle East conflict have sparked violence and fear. In Germany, this is crazy. In Germany, a Syrian national wreaked havoc in Essen, setting fire to 2 apartment buildings and injuring 31 people, including 8 children. 2 of the children I heard were in critical condition. The first fire left 2 children in critical condition, and shortly after, the suspect set another building on fire, seriously injuring 11 people. The 41-year-old suspect, seen wearing a Palestinian flag and a keffiyeh-patterned headband, was then arrested after ramming his car twice into a store while brandishing a machete. Okay, what? We're going to have to unpack that for a second. Meanwhile, Scandinavian countries faced attacks on Israeli embassies. In Stockholm, shots were fired at the Israeli embassy, with authorities finding a weapon in an empty ammunition box nearby. Copenhagen experienced a more severe incident with 2 explosions near the Israeli embassy, believed to be caused by hand grenades. Police spokesperson Jens Jespersen reported, quote, the suspects were between the age of 15 and 20, highlighting the youth of those involved. These events underscore the growing concerns about the spillover of Middle Eastern conflicts into European cities, raising questions about security measures and the impact on local communities, particularly Jewish populations. So, okay, let's take this like one at a time because there's so many incidents that happened. I was like, let's cover them at once. Okay. First of all, there was this incident that happened in Germany where a guy goes, he sets a building on fire with people inside. Then he goes set another building on fire with people inside. I'm talking people have to be jumping out the apartment windows. They're throwing children out the windows onto those cushions because the freaking building's on fire. Then he takes a car or a van or something, has a machete, starts ramming into a shop, and then just destroying shit. Somehow they managed to like, what's the word I'm looking for? Apprehend him. Meanwhile, after he went and rammed his car into the store, the regular citizens have to just throw chairs and stuff at him to try to make him stop and to try to prevent him from killing anyone. They're just throwing random furniture at him. Which low key as an American, I'm like, see, this is why we have guns. But I'm being a bit facetious. Okay, but here's what I want to highlight. This man did this attack while he has like a Palestinian flag like on him, or he had like a little emblem or something, and like a like kind of a keffiyeh. It's not like a full keffiyeh shawl. It was kind of like just a little strip, whatever, but clearly the keffiyeh fabric. And I'm like, see, the problem is, it's like the gaslighting. Like, could anyone seriously be like, oh my God, the German people are so wrong for not wanting. Speaking of the last news story we covered, like cracking down on pro Palestinian social media activism, when this is what's happening in their streets, can anyone really blame the German people for being like, yeah, no, we don't want that in our country? When in France, we covered the incident a few weeks ago where a guy tried to set a synagogue on fire and kill people. And the only reason why he failed to do so is because he got the time for Shabbat wrong. And he literally did this attack with a Palestinian flag like tied around his waist. What kind of message do they honestly think that sends to the population? Like what gets me is the gaslighting, and it's like, oh my god, this movement is just not all about terrorism and anti-Semitism. And I'm like, okay, well, you guys seem to be doing a fucking piss poor, horrible job showing that it's not. What the fuck? Like, here's the thing. I'm not saying that all people who care about this cause, who care about the lives of these civilians, feel this way. Obviously not. Obviously not. Obviously not. But who, when we're talking about normies, when we're talking about the average person that doesn't pay much attention to politics, that's just trying to pay their bills and turns on the news to see this happening in their town of Essen, and this is what the fuck they see, can anyone honestly, in good faith, blame them for being like, yeah, I think they want to terrorize, murder people. I think they hate Jews, and they're doing this while wearing the symbols of this country and this cause. I think that's going to communicate something to the general public about the nature of this cause. And then meanwhile, people that are like opposed to us are like, how dare you? Like, you can't be for real, right? I don't know. Am I out of pocket right now? Am I out of pocket, or is this not like gaslighting? like I don't know. They seem to be wanting to like be stabbing people, setting shit on fire. They're literally doing it while wearing the Palestinian flag. Literally going to go like attack Jewish institutions. This guy's running around the street after ramming his freaking truck into a tienda, like running around with the machete. Like, how are people supposed to take this? What conclusion is a normie supposed to take from this? Am I out of pocket here? And then meanwhile, people are running around the streets across different countries, like yelling Khyber, like Ya Yahud. Like, why are they, what does that chant mean? Why are they talking about genociding a Jewish tribe over 1,000 years ago? Like, people holding like Hezbollah flags, people saying like Yemen, make us proud, turn another ship around, like praising the Houthis that like kill gay people, crucify them, bring back slavery. I have to laugh because it's so fucking absurd. And then in the same breath, they turn around and look at us and be like, how dare you say we support terrorists? Like, you racist white bitch, how dare you?
You said all the things I wanted to say. There's nothing left.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's so fucking stupid. And I'm like, okay, here's the thing. You know, maybe to someone who wasn't very familiar with this whole conflict, with this cause, because they could have gotten away with some of this apologism, you know, because let me be clear, if you go like literally any farther below the surface, like the full-blown terrorism jumps out immediately. But like for people just that don't know about the conflict, it's a lot to learn about. You know, it's complicated, it's confusing sometimes, you don't know which side to believe, so a lot of normies are just like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's a fair criticism. I'll hold judgment. You know, I don't want to be judgmental towards a whole group or ethnicity of people. They could have gotten a they I feel like before October 7th there was more of that cover. You know what I mean? That apologism maybe could have gotten you a little bit farther with just the average non-informed person. But after what we've seen in the past year, the average person, when this happens in your town, like Essen is a really chill place. It's beautiful. And like when this is happening in Essen, when people are getting stabbed to death by an ISIS dude at a diversity festival, again, I can't get over how that attack literally sounds like what some stupid 4chan dude would make up about an attack to demonize refugees. A refugee from Syria turns out to be an ISIS guy who then stabs people to death at none other than a diversity festival in Sloningen. It literally sounds like something you would make up to demonize a refugee, but it literally happened. Like, and then it's like, no, you're just a xenophobe, man. Dude. Whew.
Just being
Yeah.
racist.
Yeah. So this kind of apologism just isn't going to work anymore when there's a dude setting buildings on fire, sending children into critical condition. When you have to see images of people in your city, in your country, throwing children out of a window to save them from burning to death, nah. It's like, and then it's like, no, you have to really, it's everything's not like that. Not to mention just the pure virulent, acidic anti-Semitism that's just shouted in the streets all the time. Ay, 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 it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. My friends, mis amigos, it's a hot mess. So that was the attack in Essen. But I also wanted to talk about the attack in Denmark and Sweden. So there was, yeah, Dia's telling me to wait until tomorrow. Because obviously tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of October 7th. And I think we are all bracing ourselves for hopefully no attacks anywhere. And also like the sheer amount of virulent bigotry, anti-Semitism, unadulterated violence, calls for death and destruction that we will see essentially in celebration of October 7th around the world. That's what I'm anticipating, which is horrific. But, when Har Sultan says that the Islamists played their hands too soon, like this is what he's talking about. This is what he's talking about. They play their hand too soon. So let me back up. I'm a little too caffeinated right now.
No, that's great. Keep going. Keep going. I love it.
Oh my god. So let's talk about these attacks on Israeli embassies that happened last week. And basically, they happened in the early hours of Wednesday morning. And I believe that they were supposed to coincide with Iran's attack on Israel. Because when I was researching this, I found that news just came out like the day before that the authorities have identified that these attacks on the Danish and Swedish Israeli embassies were actually Iranian directed attacks. This was an exclusive reported in Iran International. So this is brand new information that just came out. So basically, some teenagers were, and here's the thing: a lot of crime in Sweden is conducted by adolescents because they get a break when it comes to what's the word I'm looking for? Sentencing. Did these attacks. And what's so interesting, Armin, is that if anyone is familiar with how the Islamic Republic likes to conduct attacks and transnational repression, what they often do is they will hire local criminals. So basically, an unnamed source from the Swedish police told Iran International that they found evidence that the Islamic Republic has been involved in the incidents, and they're doing preliminary investigations into the attacks on in their nation's soil. And basically, this is part of Iran's consistent strategy of, because they are freaking horrible at attacking the actual nation of Israel itself, they just resort to attacking random Israelis and literally just random Jews around the world like a bunch of fucking losers. Okay, because that's what they are. They are. This is a loser that just lashes out at anyone they can because they need to feel like they have some control, because they have so much like pain and hurt taken to their ego because they know they're a fucking loser. Okay, that's how I feel about it. Let me calm down. And
No, don't calm down. This is great. Don't calm down. Don't calm down at all. This is
so basically, the Swedish officials are saying this, off the record. The Mossad is saying that the Islamic Republic is behind these attacks. And I think that this can kind of be interpreted like two different ways. So there are some people that say that this actually shows how the Islamic Republic is actually very weak, because basically the best that they can do is go hire local random criminals to be their mercenaries. And then other people, so that they're like, that shows that they actually don't have like a great operational capacity. They're outsourcing. They have to outsource their terrorism. Um, but then other people say that actually this is a specific tactic that they use to try to frame this as merely a criminal activity, to try to give them a level of distance from the attack. So there's many different ways of looking at it. But this was very interesting because this news about these attacks that happened simultaneously just came out about the Islamic Republic involvement. Not entirely surprising. But then it also reminded me that in America, there have been a number of indictments that came down from the Department of Justice that we haven't even covered on this show, where there's been multiple instances recently of the Islamic Republic hiring Pakistani nationals in the United States to conduct attempted assassinations and attempted terrorism on behalf of the Islamic Republic in the United States. Like a number of Pakistanis, a bunch of them came down at once. And then there was another instance that happened where the DOJ unveiled, there we go, unveiled an indictment about how the Islamic Republic is using the Hells Angels motorcycle gang to also conduct their hits on people and their attempted, intimidation, transnational repression, terrorism, etc. The Hells Angels. Now, we actually covered this before a few years ago. And it's very interesting because in the case of Sweden, some of these gangs that the Islamic Republic uses are actually also used in regards to the drug trafficking trade that the IRGC is involved in. Guys, the web goes deep. The web goes deep. So I just wanted to touch on that because we haven't had the opportunity to cover that as an entire segment. The Pakistani nationals and the Hells Angels.
think about how pathetically weak they are, given that they cannot actually react to Israel because they don't have the strength to push back against Israel. They have to go after random individuals, random defenseless individuals, to exert their power, to demonstrate that they have some power. But they fail even then. Even then, they actually don't manage to achieve much, which is quite embarrassing, I think, for the Islamic Republic. Yeah.
It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic. Because, say what you will, the Mossad does a pretty damn good job of keeping both eyes open, even if they're sleeping when it comes to the safety of Jews around the world. I remember the Mossad like alerting random specific Jewish businessmen in Turkey, like, you got to get out because the Islamic Republic is coming for you, like, now. Like, around the world, man.
Okay, let's go to the super chat.
Okay. So Kenny gave a super chat, just no comment, just a super chat. Thank you, Kenny. Angry Keyboard Warrior is saying, do you stand by your prior support for Greta Thunberg? Did we have prior support for Greta Thunberg? I don't remember this.
I remember once when she was a child saying that I assumed that she was a child, and I said, well, we shouldn't talk about a child like that. And some people sending me her age are like, oh, never mind, she's not a child. I mean, she has some very anti-Israeli positions, which we are against.
To put it
So,
mildly.
to put it mildly, she's supporting terrorism. So we're against that, obviously. Her, I mean, I am for everybody who wants to defend the environment. I am for that, but the way she seems to be doing it is making it so that people hate environmental activists now. So I think she might
Facts.
have an opposite effect. I think she might have an opposite effect on defending the environment as well.
It's like vegan
So,
activists. Those people are
yeah.
deplorable.
Yeah.
I frankly just think that she needed a new thing to stay relevant. And so she picked up the Palestinian cause because it's just so freaking easy to grift off of that cause. Like Macklemore. Do people even know how insanely irrelevant Macklemore was in the music industry nowadays? Beyond irrelevant. How did he become relevant again? All of a sudden he's just like Palestine everything. Makes me sick. Oh, and by the way, guys, I forgot to say, because I didn't have a stream like Armin did, Lashana Tova. Lashana Tova, my friends. You're muted.
I said that means Happy New Year for people who don't know in
Yes.
Hebrew, for our Israelis.
And I missed out on getting some crown challah. I need to see if there's a bakery that can still help me find it. I'm obsessed with crown challah. Oh my god. If you guys live in the Bay Area, you have to get crown challah from Arizmendi Bakery. Oh my god. Okay. Anyways, animation gifted 5
Thank
Atheist
you.
Republic memberships. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
GJ also gave a super chat saying the Roma et al. Et al. Who's et al? Gave Dutch lingo disease swearing. I have no idea what this means. But thank you for the super chat. Gnome gave a super chat saying
It means and others.
No, I know what it means,
Yes,
but
okay.
who in the context of the sentence, who is at all?
Dutch,
That's what didn't make sense to me. I'm like, who
yeah,
are the
I don't know what
others?
it is.
Anyways, Gnome gave a super chat saying Armin in Hebrew equals sex mountain. Is that literally what it
wow.
means?
Does it mean that?
I mean,
That's fantastic. I like that.
hell yeah, I'm a sex mountain.
Okay. No, I'm either
People are
saying
saying
no. Okay, the
no.
letter no. False.
Hey, let him, guys, let him
damn it.
dream, okay? Let him
It
dream.
means okay. Let's just pretend it does mean that. Okay, don't ruin my.
Okay. Kenny gave 5 Atheist Republic memberships. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Kenny. And you highlighted this, Armin. What is Sohail saying?
Thank you, Kenny. Sohail is saying Armin Susanna Khoda Vakile kheli cute. Sohail is saying that Armin, I swear Susanna is so cute.
Oh.
God means God judging Susanna is very cute. Okay.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jack Johnson gave a super chat saying, how does Greta support terrorism? Example, source.
I mean, she had the chant from the river to the sea. She had the keffiyeh, supporting people, supporting attacks on Israel, waving the Palestinian flag when there's attacks on Israel, using that flag. Um, there's so many of it. Questioning Israel's right to exist, standing up with the people who are anti-Israeli, standing up with the people who want to see Israel destroyed. That is supporting terrorism. That is supporting genocide, to be honest, actually.
Autumn's insane. Well, when she opens her mouth. Okay.
I mean, do you
No,
want to?
I
I mean,
swear to God.
there's so many of it. Do you want me to go
Yeah.
find it right now, live on air? I mean, this is so easily accessible. I think you shouldn't be able. Shouldn't have a problem to be able to go find it. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn. Never mind.
It
I
will
think I
come
had
back.
way too much caffeine this morning. I feel hyped up right now, guys.
You should, that's good. It's giving me it's giving me a lot of energy. So
I know. I might
that's
run my mouth. You know what? Fuck it. Good men bled and died for my ability to say some bullshit protected under my constitution. And I'm going to live like I don't forget that. Okay. Some people in this country are goddamn ungrateful as well.
By the way, I heard there's some droughts in Brazil, so be careful with your caffeine rations. You might run out.
I mean, we grow coffee all around the world. That's okay. I'll switch to Ethiopian.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.